So this week is School Choice Week, and we are very happy to sponsor one of the over 16,000 events around the country that are celebrating School Choice Week. People ask, what do you mean by school choice? And what I mean by that, if you have more than one child, you understand this, or you have siblings, is kids are very different. Even if they grow up in the very same family, they have different needs. And school choice is all about giving parents options so they can find out what's best for their child. Maybe public, maybe private, maybe online, maybe a hybrid school, could be a homeschool. We need to empower individuals to obtain this, and it's really a social justice issue because wealthy people can afford that. It's the people that are trapped in poverty that are assigned to one school in their zip code, and if that doesn't fit the needs of their child, they don't really have the options of moving into a swankier neighborhood with a better public school or going to a private school. So if you're concerned about economic inequality, economic opportunity is what we need to promote, and that's what school choice is all about, is making sure that everyone in our society has a great opportunity for a good education, because that's going to be critical in letting them really live the American dream and being a productive citizen. Today's program is, I think, going to be a great example of school choice. We have three wonderful speakers, and I'm not going to go into an in-depth introduction because you have their bios in front of you. Just say a little bit about each one. The first speaker, Mike Davis, is the executive director and co-founder of Great Teachers Academy. Too often we in the policy area, we talk about the mechanism for school choice. Vouchers, tax credits, charter school legislation. How do you get the resources to individuals to make those choices? It's really not about that. That's just the mechanism. It's really about the schools and the teachers and that are actually the options that are available. And what Mike has done in founding this organization of micro schools is a whole new model for education. It allows truly neighborhood schools. It allows it to be teacher-led schools. Really an exciting model, and it's exactly what can happen when you get the policies right, which would include education savings accounts and digital learning. I think one of the things that we put in place over the last few years, thanks to Representative Dudgeon, is we're one of the top 10 states in the country in terms of digital learning policy. Every single child in our state, in every single public school, is going to have access to broadband, high-speed internet, thanks to a lot of the work of Senator Dudgeon. They have access to online courses, online schools, all kinds of resources. And so that is a fantastic background that what Mike is using those policies to put forward a product that's really exciting. Representative Dudgeon is vice chairman of the House Education Committee. He's been a great champion of school choice. And I got a little bit of a sad note. He announced 2 days ago that he was no longer running for office for the next election. This is tough. What I like about our two legislators is they are in the private sector. True citizen legislators. They understand the regulations that small business people have to face. They understand the challenge of finding a skilled workforce, all of those things that we all worry about. But it's hard to be a legislator when you have a family and you have a business that requires your time. And that's too bad. And fortunately, Mike's business is going gangbusters. I think next week, you're going to fill up the Cobb Energy Center.
Last week. It was 2 weeks.
Oh, last week. A whole crowd of people going to the Cobb Energy Center to watch other people play video games. Now, I'm young enough to where I can appreciate that because I like playing video games. That's a great industry in Georgia a lot of people don't know about. Hi-Res Studios, his industry, is bringing great jobs to Georgia and literally going gangbusters. He's the chief technology officer, so requires a lot of time. And you know what? They're not real sympathetic when they're trying to get a product out. And he says, well, I've got a hearing on a bill. I'm not going to be able to answer those questions. So, Mike, we're going to miss you and appreciate your service and wish you the best. And we have to make you a senior fellow in education policy after you leave. Hunter Hill, senator he grew up literally right up the street, lived in Vinings, Buckhead area all his life, has been a real champion of school choice, and of other conservative principals. He was in the first class of the Conservative Leadership Institute and is now their chairman. And many of you know that's the group that we partner with to provide our legislative forum every year. Both Hunter and Mike are great legislators because whether they agree with you or not, they will sit down and listen. They don't have preconceived notions. They really do listen to constituents, listen to everyone, but they feel passionately and they're very principled. They don't compromise on their principles, even if it gets them in political hot water sometimes. You know where they stand, but they'll listen to you and listen to your arguments. And that's what, certainly we really appreciate. I think that's what makes a great legislator. So we're really fortunate to have two great legislators and a great innovator here. And so with that, let me turn it over to Mike Davis.